thing I wanted to talk to you about today is the difference between weighing and measuring. Most home cooking recipes are measurements. So you have things like this measuring cup, this set of measuring cups, or this big liquid measure, and of course measuring spoons. And let me tell you, if you're measuring, let's say, a cup of flour, a cup in liquid measurements is 8 ounces, but a cup of flour is maybe 5 ounces. So if you think that you can convert just because of what the actual, weight is, it's not going to be right. A cup of sugar is actually only 7 ounces. It's not 8 ounces. And another thing that can affect what the actual finished weight is how you measure it. So for example, I have this tapioca flour here. If I were to scoop it like this and place it into the measuring cup, it's going to measure differently than if I just scooped it out like this. It's a lot denser. There's a lot more in there. The other thing that you want to make sure of is if you're going to measure something, you level it off. So for dry ingredients, like this tapioca flour, I'm scooping it in, and then I'm leveling it off with the back of the knife. Okay, everybody's probably seen that, but I'm telling you, it makes a difference in your baking. It's just, if you were to pack brown sugar versus just measure it. So I highly recommend finding recipes that have weights. Not all of mine do, because I'm trying to stick with what you guys are the most familiar with. But I'm telling you, if you can convert your recipes, say a recipe calls for a half a cup of tapioca starch, then just weigh it out. And scales are cheap, okay? I think this guy is like maybe $10 on Amazon, and it goes up to about 2 pounds. And this one is my professional scale. It goes up to 5 pounds. I use it for, the bigger volume recipes when I was baking. But both of these guys come with a tare button. So what you could do is, if you're trying to convert your recipes to weights instead of measures, is you would put your half cup or whatever your measuring piece is and hit the tare button. And now that's 0. Now you can go ahead and measure out your ingredient. I'm making sure it's nice and level. And put that on the scale. And it's 2.1 ounces. A half a cup is 4 ounces. So definitely make sure that you're converting your ingredients, because every dry ingredient is going to weigh differently. And if you get used to using a scale and weighing everything, you're gonna find that your recipes are gonna be more consistent. They're gonna taste better, because that's probably how the recipe developer did it in the first place and then switched it back to measurements for your convenience. So if you wanna try that, I highly recommend doing it. I think it's so worthwhile, and it's so much more accurate.